Oh my gosh, you guys, we are back. We are back. We are at the tail end of season two, Flourish and Flooring. I'm your host, Cameron Metheney. You guys, again, I cannot even get over the women that we've had on this season. Today, I'm going to knock your socks off, or she's going to knock your socks off. Rachel Moriarty with Interiors. She's an amazing designer. Just wait until we chat with her here in just a few minutes. Most of you know I am Cameron from Cameo Studio Designs, where I offer a CEU for designer dopamine. I am that visionary, that woman that you want in your life to bring light into your space for tile, for stone, all of the fun stuff, the jam. That is me. This podcast is proudly presented by the WOFB and sponsored by Cameo Studio Designs and Latacrete. Speaking of Latacrete, if you are a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or tile expert, let me shine a light on Latacrete as a brand that is synonymous with quality and innovation. Are you planning your next tiling project or tackling a big renovation? Ensure that a successful installation each and every time is with the most comprehensive assortment of innovative tile and stone installation materials available worldwide, you guys. Latacrete is the leading products that offer complete system solutions from substrate up through the grout in virtually any type of project. Look no further than Latacrete for all of your adhesive grout and waterproofing needs. I must take a breath. For those just joining me, again, we are season two. This is all about the hammer versus honey approach and work and life and all of the things. The hammer as we build strength, as we go and we navigate through jobs, through life. The honey kind of just gives us that metaphor of that intuitive, nurturing, how we approach things. Most of you know I'm all about the hammer. I got to deal with all you contractors. But without further ado, you guys, today I'm chatting with Rachel Moriarty from San Diego. I'm sure you have seen her. She is an award-winning designer, #1 best-selling author from style expert, as well as a color patternista. Perhaps most importantly, Rachel is the ultimate colorful character. Those who know her and follow her on social media look forward to seeing her vibrant wardrobe, eclectic jewelry, and ease with being what she calls extra. I love this. Rachel's multicultural roots. She is Mexican, Native American, Filipino, are an integral part of her love of diversity and design. Rachel is not afraid of color, texture, design influences from across the globe. And here she is. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, you are so welcome. Have such a mouthful of everything that I wanted to say about you. I get so excited, just your background, everything about you. How is San Diego today?
San Diego, like in Florida, we're living the dream, right?
Oh my gosh, right? It has been so hot. Every afternoon, there's
Oh
like
my
these
gosh,
storms that come through, though, these tropical storms. But
pull it
then
down.
come morning, everything is just so green and beautiful. It looks like a tropical oasis here.
Ah, amazing. Well, we look a
Rachel,
little like a desert over here, but we still have the ocean, and
yeah,
it's
right?
gorgeous.
Right. What are you up to these days? What are you planning for?
Right now, everything has picked back up. I feel like everybody was in Europe this summer. Um, you know, Summer is just we have a seasonality to our industry. Summer, everyone's traveling with their family, kids are home, everyone's distracted. And
Right.
now finally, everyone's back to business, ready to go. So I
Sure.
am just kind of, you know, revisiting everything because it's like even my brain took a little bit of a vacay. So getting back, like, okay, what did I already do? What do I have to do? Calling people, getting
Right.
in touch with everyone. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's going on.
How old are your kids?
I have a 24-year-old,
Okay.
um, and a 14-year-old. She just started,
Okay.
she's a freshman.
Yeah. So you were clothes shopping, getting it all together for school, I would assume. Yes. So
100%, yes.
I love that about you. So that is so amazing that I mean everything that you do, everything on your website, all of the awards that you've given, and then you're a mom on top of it. Like, oh, accolades to you. That's
Thank you.
absolutely incredible. So I kind of want to dive in about your career journey and where you are because people can go to your website, they can read all about you. Let me put this up for you, actually. People can go to your website, they can read all about you, and we see this, you know, very successful interior designer. Did you start out as a very successful interior designer? Can you tell
Oh
me a
my
little bit
gosh.
about your journey? What inspired you to really focus on color? Because that's your vice, baby. That is your
Yes.
vice.
Well, I started in the fashion industry. So, like any young girl, I started in retail, and then I kind of went up into visual merchandising. I did it here. I lived in Dubai. I did it in Dubai as well. And then I worked for a catalog company and I was a photo and prop stylist. I worked in the advertising department for about 10 years.
Mm.
I've had like six careers, by the way. I mean,
Oh,
people are always like, design is a second career. I'm like, it's like my sixth.
yeah,
And
right?
so it was just kind of a natural progression. It's like when got my first house, just my interests organically changed from fashion and clothing into home. And the fashion never went away. But it was funny when I stepped into the design industry, I felt more at home there. Like I
Right.
knew this is where I was meant to be. Everything else sort of also, made sense, and I bring it into my work. But yeah, it was just an organic thing. And then as I started working with um people's homes, I don't know if it was because of my background in photo styling. I always wanted a moment. Like as soon as you walk in, I pick, I want to direct your eye. I want to create, I want to create where your eye is going to go. And I did that
Mm,
with color. So, but what I noticed going deeper as I honed my skills and started, the honey approach, as you call it, with my clients, um, I would notice that there was a connection. People had a connection
mm,
to color. So I'm
mm,
working with a girl now, and she's a young doctor. She's from St. Martin. And it's like when she sees the color terracotta or terracotta tile, she has this like visceral feel. I can see it, I can feel
oh,
it. I'm
I
getting the
love that.
goosebumps talking about it. It's just,
Yeah.
so it's a connection. So I go and research what are the colors that are in interiors there, trying to see how she grew up. And she is definitely not afraid of color. She loves bold. But there is a connection. It also can create a mood if people want to feel serene, if they want to feel energized, if they want to feel creative. There's all kinds. It's not just something in the background. It's actually
Right.
a tool.
It is a tool, and I firmly believe I have lots of tattoos all over my body, and now I'm working on redoing all of them. But
Wow.
there's something about that color just that I have on my skin as a canvas, and to
Yes.
amplify that even more, anytime I'm feeling just a little drab or just a little like mood, it's raining outside or whatever, we go through as
Yeah.
humans. I go to my closet and I pick out like this is one of my favorite. And anytime I add color
100%.
to my space and wear it, it changes the dopaminergic feelings
Yeah.
even that I have. So, I love that you have actually addressed that and you pinpoint that because just like lighting and color, having those two things, you can make or break a space, anything at all, even art, as we look at art and something super beautiful, even though art is in the eye of the beholder. But I do know that studies show if art is bold and it does all of these things, it has pop to it, it does something to the dopaminergic chemical releases. So I
100%. Yeah.
love that you've brought that up. So thank you for sharing that. So you brought up a good point too about the honey approach. And as I mentioned, this season is all about the hammer versus the honey approach and how people define and how they define either honey or hammer, how they navigate through using those different techniques. Can you talk about approaching your design that you had to balance a hammer approach, maybe being more assertive, or honey, with anything that you've done with clients?
I feel like I have to use it every day. I think we all do, and I think that's what the coolest thing about women in construction or women in flooring is, because we balance those very well. So
Hmm.
it's funny, I'm working with this couple right now, and I have to use almost like a hammer approach with the husband and a really drippy honey approach with the wife. And so and it's funny because when she approached me, she was like, I cannot I cannot get my husband to move on anything, you know? So I knew I was gonna have to be a little more assertive. I also didn't
Yeah,
mention that I used to be a private banker too. And so what that does is I know my numbers. I have spreadsheets, I'm like, anyone can challenge me on that anytime and I'll go toe to toe with them. So I'm
right.
always prepared to work with the husband. The husbands are very analytical. They don't want to spend
Oh, yeah.
money, it's just, all the time, all the time, all the time. So I'm always walking that tightrope,
Sure.
And then on a job site as well, I am pretty honey when I come onto a job site because I work with a general contractor. He's the hammer,
Yeah,
but before I met him, I have had to release subs from job sites, just either because of their work or their energy or their attitude. Now I've
yeah.
been working with my team for about 7 years. So I am
Oh,
not the hammer on the job site anymore. So
that's
of
beautiful.
course, when there's issues and something goes wrong, then I kind of jump in and let's get into problem solving mode. And then I got to
Mm.
make the call to the client. But so I'm
Yeah,
always using it's like a little tightrope every day.
right. No, that's a great example. I love the way that you brought that up because, you're so genuine but I can see both. I can definitely see Miss Rachel dropping that hammer when she
I
needs
always say
to.
I'm always like, I'm nice until I'm not.
Yeah, right? Aren't we all?
Right?
Yeah. So that brings me into my next question about entrepreneurship and leadership and running a design business. What do you think that your biggest challenges and rewards of running your own design business have been for you?
I think it's definitely like the boring stuff. I talk about dopamine. I am a dopamine chaser. It's like if I
Yes.
could have it my way, I would be going to networking events, being in showrooms and touching and feeling, going to industry events, doing installs, doing photo shoots. But that's just not all of it. We do have to
Mm,
work with budgets and we have, all of the back end business stuff too.
right.
And I have ADHD. So it's
Ah,
like that is the challenge for me is like make putting buns in the seat and
yes.
staying there. So what I do is I usually go for a walk and just get like all the energy out and whatever, and then okay, I just and I just tell myself like you just have to do it a couple hours at a time. I kind of chunk things down because
Right.
my ADHD, but yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge.
I love that though, that, it's so important that we have it, kind of like bodybuilding that's my
Yes.
comparison because we have to be so disciplined with a system that works. And when we
Yes.
have a system that works, for instance, for bodybuilding, there's that discipline. The day starts with discipline. I know
Mhm.
that if I don't, go train by 12 o'clock in the afternoon, then I'm
Yes.
done.
It's not
And it's the
happening.
same thing
Yeah.
with, yeah. And it's the same thing too with my business. I have a system. I know that if I am not where I need to be, with answering emails by this time, I have that system. And I think that that's so important to also know thyself, because when
Yes.
we do, we can build on our strengths and we know how we can operate within our own realm. I love watching your Instagrams too. When I know I'm like, oh, she's on her walk right now. That right there, I do it too. Although I go
Yeah.
skating at the pier with my dog. But yeah,
Yes. We're so
that's
lucky.
so well, I guess I've wiped out a few times, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
know that I know that that's super important to have that discipline, that regimen, knowing how we just function, knowing what works for us. And, that system for a business, you have to have it. You've already said you're a numbers person. So
Yeah.
having those strategic things that we must do, we have to do, regardless if we don't want to do them, that's so important in running a successful
We
business.
have to remember too that like we're the asset. Like my business is Rachel Moriarty Interiors,
Right.
so I'm the asset. So nothing can flow out if I'm creatively blocked, if I haven't been,
Mm,
and with the ADHD, if it's like just stuff swimming, if I don't get it out,
right.
either journaling or physically get the energy out,
Right.
and like you said, not know thyself, and remember that you're the asset. Without you, there is no business. So
Right.
it's like you have to figure out, because sometimes overwhelm will just put
Oh
me in a
yeah.
freeze, and so it's just
Yeah.
like I've got to and I'm not just, I would not say I'm disciplined. Like I am not bodybuilder, like, I don't have that mentality. So
Girl, I'm not
I
that disciplined right now either.
so it's yeah, I love that. And that's the cool thing about owning a business is, I realize, like looking back at jobs that I had that were in corporate, I'm like, actually, I don't function between 9 and 5. I function really early and I function really late,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's
Yes.
so funny. I'm like, no wonder it was so hard for me in corporate.
Right. Oh my gosh. I think I
Yeah.
lasted in corporate a very short time. I always tell people, I'm like, first off, I'm an HR nightmare. Secondly, I'm unemployable because
Yes.
that you talk about like as an entrepreneur and we have all of these, things that drive us and do all of these things for me. I have a blessing and a curse, and that is I'm a visionary. And so I get
Hmm.
an idea in my head and I just
Yes.
blow it out of the water and I start chasing that. But then I have this vision here and this vision here and this vision here and all of these things like a serial entrepreneur. I have probably
Yes.
12 projects going on right now.
Yes.
And I'm just like,
Yes.
okay, we'll get it done. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the way that my chaotic brain works.
Yes. It's, like
So,
ADHD is the same. It's like
mhm,
it's a gift and a curse. It's a gift because you get into this mode called hyper focus. It's
yes,
like the house could be burning down around me and I would have no clue. Like I am just like in this flow and like I have no idea. I have like started working on a project, worked all weekend and come up for air and I'm like, "Oh my gosh. Like
I
where
know.
who fed my family?"
I know. I do the
It's
same
crazy.
thing. And I always tell people that like start working around me, I'm like, okay, just so you know, I am a visionary. And whenever I
Yes.
get something in my head, I'm going to go 1,000 miles per
Yes.
hour and I'm going to be gone for like a month, but I will come
Yes.
back. I'll land,
After I
on
burn
the
out
ground
on that.
eventually. Yeah. So it's a
So
blessing and
good.
a curse. So
So good.
that is good stuff. Speaking of one of my businesses, so 15 years ago, I was on tour as a pinup model, and I was on tour in a
I love
1960s Shasta seafoam green with the wing Shasta trailer that
I
on
love
the
it.
inside I did as like a pinup boudoir meets tiki lounge from the 60s, right? It was so much
Amazing.
fun.
A dream.
This background that we have is a trailer, and I know that you've updated some Airstreams. Tell me
Yeah.
about maybe one of your favorite projects, because I'm going to drop your website again. People can go and look at this. It's probably one of my favorite projects I think that you've done. Tell me about this.
Yeah. This one was super fun. It's a 1973 Airstream Argosy. And
Mm,
the difference between the Airstreams and the Argosies are the Airstreams have the metallic finish, and the Argosies were painted on the exterior.
okay.
And this one was fun. I mean, talk about hammer. It was a logistics thing. We couldn't get it into the house, so we had to have it craned into the house
Gotcha.
and put into this little narrow spot that I talk about visionary. It was like once I got the vision of this, fitting right in this little area, it's like how can we, you got to move mountains to do that. So
Yes.
we got it in there, and it was at a beach house, and we just literally gutted it. It was really disgusting. Like it wasn't that expensive we just wanted the shell really.
Mm.
Um, and then I partnered with I did it for the one room challenge, actually. I don't know if you're
Oh my
familiar
gosh,
with
I love
that.
that. I've heard of that
Yes.
before.
Yes. So it's like you have 8 weeks, and you can either blog about it, vlog about it, Instagram, whatever, but you just update from start to finish, concept to completion. And so even though it was a client's project, I was like, let's do it. So I got some sponsorship. I got some flooring, Deco Vita sponsored the flooring. And so I did, tile wood effect flooring in there, and then Mohawk. I worked with Mohawk. And so it was just really fun. It was fun to pull in sponsors and pull this together. And we did it within 8 weeks.
Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And
Absolutely
we
beautiful. Yeah.
started like I started thinking like what would the inside of you remember I Dream of Jeannie when we were growing up?
Yes.
A rerun
Yeah.
show. I grew up all like watching that all summer long. And I was like, I remember the inside of her genie bottle when she would just be sitting, and I was like, I want it to
Mhm.
be like that. And so that's kind of how we came up with this. And it's like sort of a Moroccan slash I Dream of Jeannie
Right.
inspiration.
Right. Oh my God, I love that so much. That's exactly what it reminds me of. Just I want to go, like I just want to go there and like vacation. Yesterday I
Yeah.
was talking to Georgia Ezra of Ezra Tiles, and she
Yes.
brought up a really great point, and I thought of you instantly. She said, anytime I ask my clients that they need to where they're going to get their inspiration and they don't know, I always say to them, what is the most beautiful hotel that you've ever stayed at, the interior? And that's where we're going to
Yes.
take inspiration.
Oh
And
my
you and I
God.
both know I love that Art Deco, those hotels
Yes.
that are, oh my gosh, on the West Coast at Palm Springs. Oh,
And
love,
I
love, love.
love, like, I have a lot of clients that will call me and be like, we're on vacation in Hawaii or we're in Bali. And they'll just start sending me photos, and they're like, this is the name of the hotel. I want some element of this. And it's really fun. I love when they start sending me photos from a hotel.
Yeah, right. There's some amazing, I live about 8 miles from the Don Cesar Hotel, which was it was built in 1890s, I believe. It was done all in original flamingo pink from that era. And the architect was from Morocco. So
Oh,
everything in there still, a lot of it is, it's original. It's changed a little bit, but
sounds
I stayed in
amazing.
the penthouse. I stayed in the penthouse
Mm.
there. Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio stayed there. So I was like, oh, I've got to stay.
Wow.
And at the time they're like, it's 6 grand. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm staying there.
You're such a penthouse girl.
I know, right? Anyway, so that's where I'm gonna get all of my inspiration for everything that I
Yes.
do.
Yes.
So for you, let's dive into the future of design trends. You are going to be
Mm,
the person that is going to, I know you're going to be talking about this in 2025. What are
yeah.
upcoming trends in color and design that you're excited about? And honestly, Rachel, like, how do you, as a color pro, like, that is your vice, how do you stay ahead of such a dynamic field?
Well, I go to the shows.
Yes,
So I met you at Ties, right? We met at Ties.
I believe so.
And
Yes.
so I do the surfaces show, I do the kitchen and bath builder show, and then I do High Point Market, and then I go modernism in Palm Springs. And so I try to hit,
Mm.
several shows a year. And that really, it just kind of trains your eye. And what I did really early on, because I started blogging early on, is I said, I'm going to approach each show because, I wanted to pay. I'm taking time away from my family, taking time out of my business. It's I'm paying for all the everything, so it's like, I have to make this worth it. And so how am I going to approach this? So I
Mm,
approach it almost like from a journalist point of view,
yeah.
and I do my own blogs and stuff like that. But then I end up doing a lot of contributing to. Actually, I just had an article come out in Coverings magazine,
Oh my
and
gosh. I need to
it's
read
from
it.
the Tie Show. Their spring 2024, they had me do an article about what I saw at Ties. So I'm always just looking, like I just
Right.
train my eyes, because I have been a style spotter for High Point Market. I've been a design influencer on a design influencers tour. Um, but even before that happened, I was like, I don't really need somebody to call me a trend spotter or a style spotter or something like that. Like, I can do
Hmm.
that for myself. And it really did. That approach helped me sort of plant my flag in the industry
Yeah.
and have a point of view,
Right.
because I'm searching, I'm like kind of hungry for it. So some of the things that is coming is color drenching. I don't know if you're
Mm,
noticing, like, people are starting to color drench a room where they're painting the ceilings, they're painting the
yeah.
walls and the trim all the same color, and maybe working with some different finishes. So maybe their finish, the trim have like a higher sheen, but it's all in the same color. It's really beautiful. And color drenching
Oh
in
my God.
dark
I love it.
colors, but they'll add like a lacquer sheen to it, so it still reflects light. It doesn't
Oh,
just suck in the light. That's really fabulous. I'm really happy to see maximalism coming back, and
mm,
really like looking at the old decorating that we used to do, real proper trims on pillows and bullion
I
fringe
love
and pattern on pattern. It's like we started simplifying. We got into this really simplified, like white, bright with a little blue stripe in it, and now it's like
right.
to, layers and colors and details. So I love that. Um, what else is going? Quiet luxury on the other side is kind of making a big moment. So if you aren't into the color, quiet luxury is more timeless. And then just a big fan of, like, I go in. I'm never going to tell people that everything has to go. Like, if you have
Right.
grandma's something in there, we are not getting rid of it. Like, it just
Mm,
holds memories, and it's, again, for me, it's a connection. So I love taking heirloom pieces, and in quiet luxury you tend to see some of those more heirloom pieces in
right.
it. So those are some of
Yeah,
the things
no,
I'm seeing.
absolutely. I love that. Oh my gosh. I love the term color drenching.
Yes,
I'm
isn't it
so gonna
sexy?
use that. That is so sexy.
Yes.
God, you need to brand that girl.
Yes.
Oh, I love that so much. So, well, thank you for sharing about trends and colors and where, I mean, you are the girl to know for this for sure.
Thank
So let's talk a little bit about we dabbled into a little bit of what future is going to be as far as upcoming trends, but for you, what is a vision for the future for what is next for you? Like upcoming projects or goals that you're particularly excited about, and what are some events that you're going to be speaking at? So two things: vision, excited things for you, goals, and then also what are some trade shows you're going to be speaking at for 2025?
Okay, so I'm at the end of this year in the fall, I'll be speaking at High Point Market and
Amazing.
talking about fluency in construction. Um, I'll be doing a workshop at KBiz with our friend Sharon Sherman. Sharon Sherman will
Oh,
be
I love that.
on this construction panel with me as well. And we are
Great.
also doing something at Ties. So that is what's in the near future. Um,
Oh my gosh,
what was the second
love this.
part of the I can't remember the second part of the
No, no, no,
question.
that's okay. I know. I always ask like a multitude of questions because I
I'm
get
like
so excited for
ADHD.
people. No, 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 it's okay. It's really about the vision of your future, like goals and things that you're working on.
Yeah. So, I really I'm actually kind of in that questioning. A lot of what you see me doing on the beach is trying to vision.
Mm,
Um, and create, so it's
Mm.
like I'm trying to create quiet space because there's not a lot of quiet space in my life.
Right.
And I'm in that process right now. I don't really know. That's the honest answer. I think I'm just trying to. I'm celebrating in September 15th is my 10-year anniversary for Rachel Moriarty Interiors.
Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
like, what are the
Congratulations.
next 10 years? I'm like in that space, like, what are the next
Mm,
10 years? And it feels
mm,
big. So it's like I'm getting a little bit of a freeze response around it. But what I would love to do is more brand partnerships, more collections, stuff like that, where it's not
yeah,
just projects. And I
right.
am working on some bigger projects. I've got some a big new build that I'm doing, and I have about 14 projects happening right now. So it's
Oh
going to
my
be a busy
gosh.
year.
That is incredible. I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you. That's so amazing.
Thank
And I
you.
love that, like, you're so authentic about, everyone is always talking about, oh, my goals, my manifestation. And I love the authenticity that you give me when you're just like, I just don't know. I don't have that answer yet. And
Yeah.
that's okay too,
Yes.
because, some people don't, and we just sometimes will fake it till we make it. But that true transparency of like where you are, that is such a beautiful thing because I know really big, bright, bold things are going to come from you whenever, when,
Oh,
when that vision hits, girl, look out. We're going to
yeah,
have some
bam.
color drenching.
Some color drenched vision.
Yes, absolutely. I love this.
Love
You
it.
know, I remember whenever I first met you that I was like, "Oh," I said to Sharon, I was like, "Oh, who is that?" And she's like, "Oh, we're going to dinner. Come on." And I'm like, and right off the bat,
That was
it was
good.
just this innate it was just innate, the connection that I had with you because you were once again so authentic. There was no BS. It was like, this is who I am in my raw space. And for that, I have to tell you that I give you accolades because not very many women and people in at all intimidate me or make me feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not even at that caliber. And I saw
Yeah.
you, and you were one of those people that I was like, whenever I grow up, I want to be a Rachel Morty. It's so cool. It's
Oh,
too cool
thank
for school.
you.
Too cool
Thank
for
you.
school. So, I love following you. You inspire me. You inspire me to do better. You inspire me to really push to be on those platforms, at shows, to be that vision for people when they need their lighting, that vice when they need that. You and Sharon both, you're both truly an inspiration for people in the industry that want their voices to be heard. So thank you for doing all that you do for women in this industry.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We need more
Yeah,
women in
right?
the industry.
Oh my gosh,
Absolutely.
so much more. So, where can people find you? I know we've got your website here, Rachel Interiors.com. What is your Instagram handle? You're at, is it Rachel
At Rachel
Mori-
Moriarty, yeah, interiors
Moriarty?
long.
Okay.
But that is really where I mean, not so much like on the feed. On the feed, I'm probably post something a couple times a week, but you'll
Perfect.
see me in stories every single day. I start
Yes.
with my cup of coffee every morning, and then I take you along on my beach walk, and then little snippets throughout the day, little behind the scenes, and that's where a lot of people kind of create a relationship with me is in the stories. So come hang out
Yeah.
with me there.
Absolutely. And then any other, your blog is on your website too, right? So
Yes,
people can
yes.
read and go for that. And then do you have any brands or products lines that are out right now?
I don't, not right now. I am doing an artistic mirror collection. And we
Oh my
both sort
gosh.
of have some family stuff come up, and so nothing for this show, but we will be doing that again.
I could so see like a coffee table book with everything that you've done. Oh my gosh, that
I
would be so
consider it.
cool.
I have considered it because I've worked with my photographer since 1995. She does all of my interiors, so everything sort of has the same look and feel. And I've thought about
Yeah.
doing it, but I don't know.
You totally should. I would buy it and people would love it. It would be any kind of like art fun pop. Oh my gosh, you should so do that. So,
Right?
well, girl, do it. I will send some sponsorship to you because I would love to see
Girl,
something like that done.
I've done actually Laddie Creek, by the way. I am so happy they are one of your sponsors because I did a
Yes.
collaboration with them and they're amazing. I don't think people realize, well, I don't know why people sleep on grout. Like
I
they
don't
just think
either.
it's this afterthought, and it's like it can change the look of everything. And Laddie Creek has such an incredible array and the custom colors and the glitters and it's just like it's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
They're absolutely amazing, and they're actually our only sponsor, and they
Awesome.
since day 1, they've been like, "What do you need?" I've
Yes.
flown out, I've been on panels with them. They've been a huge supporter. I'm working on an all-female installation crew. We did our first
Um,
job here in Florida, and the rep flew out. He was there with us from start to finish, made sure all of the women installers knew about the product, took his time. We started this project at 10 o'clock at night. He left 8 o'clock that morning.
wow.
He hung out with us all night
Wow.
long. We burned through a drill. We caught fire. I
Oh
mean,
my,
it was so much fun. But
I
so
love it.
Latacree is where it's at for sure. So
Yeah,
they're
they're
absolutely amazing.
amazing.
I hope one day that, I'm working on some fun LED stuff and they're always, what do you got going on? What are you working on now? So I hope one
Yes.
day to come out with some fun shimmer stuff with them. We'll see though.
Oh,
I'll let you know. So, well, Rachel,
yes.
thank you so much for joining me
Thank
today.
you.
It's been such a pleasure to hang out with you, and I look forward to seeing you in 2025 at all of the upcoming trade shows.
Are you
So,
going?
um,
Will you be at the shows as well?
yes, I am not dropping what we are doing there yet, but
Okay,
yes, I will
but I'll
be
see
there.
you.
It will be
Okay.
a fun surprise for sure. So,
All right.
well, thank
I'm
you for
waiting.
joining me. I look forward to seeing everything that it is that you're coming up with for 2025 again, and keep shining, girl. My goodness, we love you.
You too.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Bye. Guys, why Latacree? I'm going to continue with this conversation that Rachel and I were talking about. Because for over 65 years, Latacree has built their reputation tile by tile. Their products are globally proven and trusted by professionals for their superior performance and ease of use. So, whether you are working on a bathroom makeover, kitchen backsplash, our favorite, or expansion commercial project, Latacree offers installation solutions to make your vision come to life. From their ultra reliable thin set adhesives and easy to apply waterproofing membranes to their durable and stain resistant grouts, they've got you covered. So again, with almost 7 decades, guys, that is so much time of setting in this industry standards. Latacree is the name that is trusted by architects and designers. You heard from Rachel herself, and professional installers that we know and we love and can rely on Latacree. So choose Latacree, your trusted partner for all things tile and stone and happy building. Also, a word from our sponsors. WOFB is a community of women in flooring, tile, stone, designers, architects, entrepreneurs, women in lighting and design, and so much more. We are all so very passionate about personal and professional growth. Through this podcast, we aim to amplify those women voices in our fields and empower each other to flourish in business and in life. Also, if you are interested in becoming a sponsor, you can reach out to podcast@womenflooring.com. And if you're looking at offering a CEU, you can reach out to me at Cameo Studio Designs for designer dopamine, which is worth 1 credit. Be a part of our conversation on the WOFB Facebook group and join the online community to connect with women like me, like Rachel, like Julie Ireland, like Michelle. We are here for you. We are so excited to be starting season 3 with a rundown, guys. We have 15 women that stand in their power, stand in their entrepreneurship that are coming down the pipeline. So join us next time. Thank